like, they need a DNA, an account number, to take, that is called Joinder. That's why police and any government official, the first thing they require for you to do is to consent to that Joinder they're going to join. They offer, there's an offer, the other part, the joinder is in the middle. Now, what is your ID? That question brings down the joinder, and if you consent to be that account number, then the positive law applies. The jurisdiction of positive law, it falls down through that joinder, through your consent, right? So you have to act always as a creditor, not as debtor. The debtor is always answering questions. The system is always, they put themselves in the creditor's place, but that's not that. And you always need to understand that you are the creditor and they are the debtors. You ask the questions. You always answer a question from the system with another question. Sure, no problem. Whatever question it is, I'll sure answer whatever you need, whatever you want. But first, you need to provide some evidence that you have any kind of authority or jurisdiction over a living man. Where is your evidence can you provide some evidence that what you're asking, what you're requiring, claiming, you have the authority to enforce that in a living man? If you give me any evidence that you can provide, I will surely consent and accept everything you say. But show me the evidence. The ones who claim something has the responsibility to provide the evidence, otherwise it's perjury. You always have to answer the questions with another question. Say, yeah, sure, no problem. You always agree. You always conditionally accept everything. And that is honorable. So you have to take care of the status of your kid and of your family. Then you have to take care of the properties. Selling your properties from your DNA to your company. And then the third pillar of the civil law is law of obligation, or law of contracts. Your contracts. You always have to sign contract. When you sign the contract with utility bills, the small prints, you are consenting to things that you have no idea. You think you are signing a contract so they can give you water or whatever, and the small print, you are consenting to God knows what, paying taxes for this, for that, for many things, and you are consenting to that only just by asking for water, to connect the water or the electricity or whatever. You are consenting to pay and to agree to many other things, not just that. So the contracts that you sign, you have to sign. Obviously, ideally, all this is directed to, after you take care of these three pillars of law, that is the only three ways the system can get to you. Either.
Are those contracts not technically promissory notes?
Come again?
Sorry. Are those contracts that you're referring to there, where we sign or autograph, technically promissory notes? Because don't they collect the money from our trust and pay themselves, and then send us a credit note, giro credit, which is thank you, you've actually paid, but we go down to the bank and pay it again, so they get paid twice. But the reality is that service is actually free for us. It's free at the point of production, but the agencies that become the agents, the service agents, then just charge us for having the meters, basically. All of this should be ours, free of charge, all of it, as far as I understand.
Yes, well, those contracts that we sign, if we read the fine prints, obviously the contracts that we're signing is with the DNI. That is the first thing. You are signing the contract with your financial information that belongs to the government. So all the debt is going to go to the DNI, right? All the debt that you're signing with this contract is going to go to the DNI. Now, if you've taken care of all your properties and none of your assets are in the account of the DNI, you can use promissory notes to discharge the debt, or you. Well, let me go back one step. If you, whenever you use the system, whenever you use it, you are consenting to its terms and whatever and practices. Whenever you use the system, you consent to whatever the system says is the law, because you're using it. So the point of all this, after taking care of law, status, law, property, and law of obligation, is letting the government know that you're going to operate in the private, and that whatever they try to come at you, you're going to just dismiss, because you're already taking care of the three things that they might try to get to you. So ideally, after this, instead of signing the contract with the water company, the electricity, ideally, in an ideal world, we would be able to dig a hole and get our own water, our wind turbines, or be able to provide your own electricity from or gas oil from the seeds, granola seed, canola oil, canola seeds. Instead of signing contracts and asking for services, we should be able to create our own community to help us create our own private community without the intervention with either water or electricity or whatever. Obviously, that is very difficult.
I think also maybe something like to get independent.
Yes.
Finally, to get independent.
Yes, that's the
Not independent anymore.
That's the idea.
Just the community.
That's the idea. That's the end.
I mean, that's the aim. Even the tribe. That's what we.
That's it.
That's our vision.
You know, but it's like step by step. And
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
has to start with something,
Yeah.
to get.
That's it. That's it.
How is
It's
there a possibility that we can all get together and start a forum and put these things, start trying to buy our houses back, etc. And we should do it together?
yeah,
What
Absolutely.
Leo, has that I've been informed is that he would help us get the paperwork together to do this.
Sure.
And this is what we need to be doing. We need to, and this is where I'm saying where we all need to be standing up. This is what we need to be doing. This is the way we're going to win the war, if you like. There's no war, there's no gunfighting and this and that. We need to take back our identity. We need to strip the government of our assets, because it's our assets. And this is the way to do it. And the more of us that do it, the weaker the government gets. And this is the key. It is the key. It's the only way we are going to be free. Yes, we've all heard of what's going to be happening, but we need to really start standing up and doing these things, and having the knowledge and the paperwork is the key.
Yeah, if we sell our own property back to ourselves, are we still going to be paying the 7% or whatever it's the sales tax, the property sales tax? No.
Forget about taxes. Once you do that, Once you do that, you notify the tax office and Hacienda that you just change the status of your properties. Your properties, your assets, are not. You basically take away all the properties from the government. You take them away, like the bank takes away your property when you don't respond their notices. You take away the property from the Spanish government and remove it. One thing that was very enlightening for me in my discovery process was, I was explaining to Larry, you always are in a legal placed in a legal framework. When the private contract is consented between two parts, and none of the parties signed with the DNI, then that leaves the Spanish law aside, and international private law comes into the game. International private law, operative word, private. Yes.
Why don't we use solutions already which exist in other countries? 2 weeks ago I had a friend coming over from Poland, and they worked on a million autonomies already next year. I don't know if that's possible.